Hello and welcome. This is NerdDragon88 here. We're doing Dwarven Crusade. This is episode 15. Or session 15 for those who have been keeping track. Metcalf and we've had a few technical difficulties. We're trying to load it later than normal. My apologies about that.
It ain't my fault the stupid thing wouldn't start up right away.
No, it's partly my fault because I wasn't here earlier to do stuff correctly. Or to get things going. I delayed. Okay, so when we last left off, actually no, before we do that, let us go through our short cast here. We have Metcalf.
Goodberry?
Playing Denalt Corodrum. We have Wolf.
Hello?
Playing Sage. And we have Razor, wonderful Razor, who is playing Orsic Steelmaul.
You touch my beer, I will kill you.
At least his personal stock.
The other stuff you gotta pay some money to get a hold of. I don't hand out free samples.
Yeah.
Of course not.
The Steelmaul name should speak for itself. Okay, so
I have a clan reputation to hold. We are not known to give out the booze. We are known to have the good shit, the shit that you really want to open your wallet for, the stuff that can drop you on your ass so damn fast you don't know what hit you.
Well, if that's what you want.
We have that legendary mithril ale that just slithers on the way down.
Oh, yeah.
That is one heck of an echo, which makes that extra creepy.
Yeah, dude.
My bad.
Alright, so when we last left off, you guys had gotten to Fort Hursk, gotten harassed, accused of crimes,
That I'm still pissed about.
and then slept the night there. Heard some noises, and then found it in the morning that there were deaths that had happened.
One of which was our accuser.
Yeah, one of which was the fort commander who was accusing Orsic of forging his own sigil.
Also, correction with the cart. In order for me to tie down the load, I will have to have at least hooks on the inside to tie rope to, if not the outside. And if they're on the inside, I can make a loop from the inside to the outside to hold stuff on the outside. How else am I supposed to tie down my load while I'm on the move?
He has logic.
Setting stuff up to go from the outside to the inside is generally a difficult matter and would require making holes in it.
No. All you got to do is I make a loop on one end of the rope, attach it to the inside, loop it on the outside, and tie your shit
all
to that.
the way around and cut. Basically, okay, at the back you have a big open space, or a big set of doors, I should say. At the front you have a much smaller door.
Well, last time I checked, it wasn't covered.
It's a fully armored wagon with covering, yeah.
See, that part was not clarified to me.
I thought I clarified that at the beginning with it being made out of metal, but
You said made out of metal. You didn't say it was covered.
yeah, this thing's fully sheltered.
See, now that takes the logic and shoves up my butt where the sun don't shine.
So, anyways, you guys are.
You can't blame me for trying to do logic.
No, I can't blame you. So yeah, you guys are at Fort Hursk, and the image that we're currently using for the screen is actually apparently a real place, as far as I've been able to tell. Which I've put the name here because I'm bad at pronunciation. Fort Istragoran.
Well, all
I see
is a giant battlefield
Oh,
on
right.
the road.
Let me move
Yeah.
to the appropriate one.
There you
Say the
go.
exact same
I forgot to
thing.
move them. Okay.
And one correction, I think the dwarven guns, if they did have artillery, would be much bigger.
Those are, yeah. This isn't necessarily fully accurate to what you guys saw in your approach, as mentioned before. It's just, it's
Yes,
a cool
but-
picture.
It is a cool picture, but I just want to put it out there. Dwarves have bigger guns than those pea shooters, especially when it comes to a fort.
The point of those pea shooters is that you can have a higher powered load and faster reloading, and it has recoil absorption.
Yes, but you see, if we had those, it'd be in a section of at least 3, so they act like organ guns.
And those are just meant to be cannons, not necessarily full, like, blown artillery pieces.
No, those are the anti-personnel, but they're missing 2 more barrels.
I think that varies from setting to setting, quite honestly, but I don't need to get into that. We're already kind of behind schedule, so...
Well, I'm just a dwarf trying to correct the scenario, that's all.
Okay, so you guys had come across, what was his name? I have it in my notes here.
Some dude that's actually working with the king to back up what we were saying.
Sergeant Torek Stafford, who's a member of the Hammer Guard. These guys basically being super sheriffs. Or like the mythical version of the U.S. Marshal.
Those things are still around.
Yes, but U.S. Marshals were never quite how they're portrayed in the movies.
That's true.
With their mythic extra powers and such.
No, they're like the old cowboys.
Well, except that actual cowboys were just people who helped rear cows and worked on a cow ranch.
I said like, I didn't say were. They were the wandering sheriffs of the land. Anyways,
Yeah,
moving on.
Movie cowboys, which, yeah, again, that's a whole separate topic. So, yes, moving on. You guys
As you were saying,
were asked by Sergeant Stafford to actually help out in investigating this stuff, and were given permission to actually stay up that night and wander the halls.
and if I presume correctly, it's the middle of the morning. Right now, we're trying to gather material.
Pretty early morning. You guys were being offered breakfast,
But we ate good berries.
but I think pretty much everyone ate good berries instead.
Yeah,
Everyone did.
I don't think Orsic did.
no, I did.
You did? Okay.
I took 2, one for my assistant and one for me.
Yep.
Yep.
I didn't want to eat another day of that gruel.
Well, it's not like they're really serving up. Okay, yeah, they were giving out gruel to the main population. The
Yeah.
guards are getting something a little bit better.
Well, they are the guards.
Yeah. And more importantly, they're giving out their own rations, basically.
Yeah, so I looked at it and went, okay, they're eating gruel, or I have good berry and not have to take their rations.
And actually, I figure at the end of each day, I'll summon the rest. I'll summon the rest of the good berries that I can, and then I'll pass those off to the fort.
Okay.
So, just to save some spells.
Reminds me of a character that I once had. But it's a topic for another day.
No, what's fun is always
Anywho.
playing with Velcro and duct tape.
Alright. Where did we leave off?
So, yes, you
I
guys
believe
left
we're
off
going to go
in the
exploring.
morning. Looks like most of you guys are going to be skipping going to the hall for breakfast unless you guys want to go there to question people.
I was going to go examine the general's body before it got examined by the physician.
I'll go with him since I think it's wise for us to stick in pairs of 2.
I'll head over to the place where everyone's eating, and I'll I'm gonna play my flute a little bit more, and I'm gonna listen.
And I look at Vetch, my assistant, I said, go with the note and do your gathering thing and make people's hearts sing and make sure the booze is running.
Okay.
Hey, it's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
You're near the loves. I try my best to imitate dwarf accent. I failed miserably.
Hey, at least I perform much better after a good night's rest.
True to that. I did buy new flutes. If your flute ever breaks, I have a spare bone one if you want it.
Yeah.
As skeletons rise up from the ground and start dancing.
The day before I got
it's made out of ox bone.
The day before I got a 13. This time I have a total of 20. So I'm just trying to pick up on some of the gossip that they're talking about.
Okay.
After all, that type of thing generally has at least some minuscule grain of truth to it.
I'd say go ahead and roll a perception check.
Okay.
Nice.
Alright.
Okay, so
I believe we'd be heading off with Orsic and Sage going to check the commander's body.
Yep.
Yeah, because Orzik is still kind of pissed about being accused, and if he's with other people, he might start yelling at some random poor kid.
Some random poor guard.
Yes. That's probably best if I go if he follows me, because since I'm the ended calmer person, I could just apologize to the people and carry on.
And not caring, all I'm wearing are my workout shorts and my sandals with my giant spade strapped to my back, with my belt with my little stuff on it. I had no shirt on.
Okay.
Figured.
So it sounds like you also don't have your backpack.
No. Why did I need my backpack?
Just means you don't have access to those items.
Not necessarily. I have the bag of holding.
Yeah, but the bag of holding goes on your back generally.
Well, I said I brought the bag of holding.
No, you didn't. You said the stuff that you have normally on your belt.
I thought it was attached to my belt.
No, it has its own strap.
Oh, fine. I bring that too.
Okay.
I just have no shirt on, because I don't care if someone attacks me.
Yeah.
Unlike him, I do not have a second pair of clothes. I have my usual attire.
Well, I have like 2 or 3 pairs of clothes. Because I'm a merchant. Traveling, fancy, and get down and dirty.
Yet again, I lost clothes in the Null attack.
Okay, so
Yeah. So you have a description of the bag's of holding physical size in 5e. Its mouth is approximately 2 feet in diameter and 4 feet long. So that's the size of a bag of holding in 5e.
Well, he said it was a satchel, so.
Yeah.
Alright, as we were going to see the commander's dead corpse,
Well, I think the corpse has been removed, but the rest of the room is still there.
Horstick, do you wish to check around the room, or would you like to see if you could find anything of use?
What do you mean by find of use?
I don't know. I'm not to dwarven holds, and since you're the dwarf, you might be able to find something of use in this room.
Do I notice anything out of place in the room with a 15?
The room, upon entering it, it's obvious that something happened in here. There's some stuff that's kind of knocked over, and it's obvious that the commander actually did try to put up a bit of a fight. Just from the marks around the room. But other than just doing normal kind of there was a fight here stuff, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot out of place. I mean, it's a fight zone.
Well,
I
I will wander through doing my investigation, keeping my eyes open.
Okay.
look around the battle scene to see if I can find any stray blade marks that are not a commander's choice.
Okay, roll a investigation check. Since I assume that you're getting hands-on with this.
And I'm helping them.
Okay. So, taking a much closer look at all the marks and whatnot, there are only 2 marks around the room that were not caused by the commander. Rather, 2 sets of marks.
Check the marks. See,
one of them seems to have this kind of like blackened marked onto the stone, and it looks like there's some slight light gray fuzziness on it.
I carefully grab out one of my daggers in my pouch, and I carefully scrape at it, trying to get as much of the stone in one solid piece.
So you're going to try to carve the stone.
Yes.
That's going to take a couple hours.
Well, I'm scraping it into the bag. I could find a wizard or somebody able to study the substance.
Are you scraping off the residue, or are you trying to chip away and carve this chunk out?
Oh, scraping off the residue.
Okay. There's a very big difference between
Yeah,
the
big
two.
difference there.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing that you guys find is a spot on the bed where there are 3 cut lines that are equilaterally distant from each other. That are all parallel to each other, rather, I should say. That go from edge of bed frame into the sheets upon the mattress, and a little bit onto the blanket. Just carving little tiny bit of holes.
I study it as carefully as I can.
Orsic, are you also assisting?
Yeah.
Okay. And real quick, I gotta check to see which one of you actually has the higher bonus in this.
I got a 0 on an investigation.
I have a plus 5.
Okay, so Sage, go ahead and roll.
You sure do love those 15s.
Yeah, so there's no residue there. They're very much parallel to each other. Looks like there's some slight wavering of the line on the frame, but other than that,
But
whatever it was very sharp. And it looks like it was probably all with one swipe as opposed to 3 parallel swipes.
I look over and go, that must have been one hell of a big paw of claws. Do you know anything with claws that big? Other than the bear, I don't know.
Yeah. And the gap between these is about an inch and a half.
I tried to study the mark like claw stripe, the marks. I'm trying to see if it's any animal I've encountered or know of since I live in a forest.
That's a nature check.
Nature.
A 16. Finally, something higher than a 15. So there's a couple of things that could theoretically have claw marks similar to that, but most things don't. There's no animals that you know of that actively sharpen their claws to that level.
Huh.
It could theoretically be claws, but those are some very sharpened claws. More likely is that you're looking for something that has, like, claw caps.
Huh. It's not an animal. It's some form of gauntlet weaponry. Known of, or a form of it. These are way too sharp to be normal claws.
Knowing this, I'm going to do a history check to see if I know anything.
Lo and behold! So there is a very wide variety of races that have all tried various different clawed gauntlets or claw caps for various weaponry. There's even a group of people who tried actually having full-on daggers coming off of the fingertips that were basically razor blades.
Yeah.
Very pointy razor blades. However, given the list of potential things that you've heard of from this area, which apply this to also the rumors that you've heard, out of these sets of rumors, the Githyanki would not use such a thing. It sounds more like something that a Knoll could theoretically get their hands on such a thing, but only if it was made by somebody else.
Yeah.
Such things have been used for assassination, but that generally wouldn't explain this very well. The better explanation out of the various rumors would be something more like a were-tiger.
A were-tiger.
Sage, you don't know any of this.
Or a were-cat, or something like that, yeah.
I'll look over to Sage and said, we might be dealing with... Sorry, hold on. I'll look over to Sage and go, we might be dealing with a were-cat? I don't know. Or a were-tiger. Something along those lines.
All has to be rumors. I've never heard such a thing, and I live in a forest.
It's the only thing I can think of from all my history.
We'll find out once we get this black grayish residue examined by somebody with a wizardry or some sort of magic ability.
I'm gonna do another look around the room before we leave. See if I missed anything. Question is Sage helping or not?
That
Yes.
is persuasion.
Oh, that's persuasion.
Yeah. So the question is, are you wanting to spend like a good hour in here?
Yes.
Okay.
Nat 20.
Yeah. Which I'm assuming Sage was
16.
also doing stuff. So
I just rolled the perception because I probably figured it would probably be.
yeah. So you're
we're
both
searching.
you're both searching around. This is specifically just kind of glancing around the room as opposed to like getting hands on because it's perception. But yeah, you both got the net 20 on for advantage. Although he got it without having to deal with advantage. So yeah, the one of the things that has just kind of struck you guys is that the commander's safe was basically in plain sight and was completely unlooted.
Ah,
However, there's also a ring for a ring of keys that is broken in half on the floor.
this is very strange. It can't be a thief because if it was a thief or an assassin, it would just murder the commander.
I call him one of the guards.
Hello.
Oh,
I go, do you know what ring or keys these were for? And I hold up the broken key ring.
That would be the commander's ring for all of its keys, including all the ones to his office.
and where's his office?
It's near the center of the fort.
You guys
I
already
look
know
at-
where his office is because we met him there.
Yeah. I look at Orsic. I think we might want to check out the office.
It's where the
I think we
sergeant's
should-
setting up.
I think we should go right away.
I used my it was the earring that allowed us to communicate.
Yeah, it's the earrings.
I used my earring and I contact Orsic by this point because it's been an hour. My guy's probably taking a break and he's like, "So, you guys find anything?"
Yeah. All of the commander keys are gone.
Oh, that's not good at all. Means whoever it is has access to probably has access to every room in this place.
Not only that, we might be dealing with a werecat or a were-tiger or something along those lines with the marks we just found.
They took the commander's keys. That means we have to board up the emergency passages.
Yes.
I think
Because unless you see keys around here, and this is an empty key ring, we got a major problem on our hands. If I were you, I would sound the alarm.
Orsic, we need to go check the office.
Yes. I make sure everything's strapped, and I start running, just full on running. 'Cause I haven't done my morning jog yet.
I did the same, being faster.
I don't think
Not
you're
by
actually-
much.
Not much.
I am a monk after all, damn it.
See, 35.
I'm an elf. A ranger elf.
But more importantly, you're
And
a wood elf.
what is your speed?
As a wood elf, he has a
35.
speed of 35.
Mine's 35 also.
Yeah, so you guys are the same speed.
My short little stubby legs are keeping up with you.
Which is probably
How?
extra amusing to Sage.
How the bloody hell are you keeping up with me?
Yeah.
I told you. I'm in good shape and compared to most dwarves. I'm all solid muscle. And I start going my full speed.
Yeah, so basically he's doing like a moonwalk kind of bounding, only it's faster because gravity.
And you're just seeing all the muscles ripple as I run along too, so I have no shirt on.
Bloody hell, you're fast for a dwarf.
Faster than most.
After
Also, as I'm
Probably-
running, I'll take off my spade off my back and hold it off to the side so it looks like I'm like running to attack something.
what are you doing?
I'm just doing it for. I look over and say, "I'm doing it for the fear factor."
You're gonna be afraid of a shovel.
Okay, have you seen a Shaolin spade?
Yeah, that's
No,
what
I
I'm
thought
using.
you.
Dude.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I call it a spade because I can't say the other word all the time.
Alright, fair enough.
And plus, I'm also using it as the pull arm because my fist almost does more damage than my spade.
I think it might
Well-
actually do more damage on average.
Just likely after
On average, yeah, my fist does more damage.
after probably a few good moments of running, we probably reached the office by now.
Yep, you guys will be reaching the office rather quickly. Denault, are you also going to be rushing over to the office?
At this point, yes. I'm also on my way out the door. I'm going to grab the nearest guard, and I'm going to tell him. I'm going to pull him aside to where the regular people can't hear. And I'm going to say, the person that killed your commander took all the keys. You guys should probably lock this place down now. I imagine that would be a prelude to some sort of attack through the tunnels.
Going by the size of the paw that we found, it's probably a large tiger or cat thing.
But if it's a were-tiger or a were-cat thing is that it will be able to shift back into human form, or whatever its natural form is. So this thing, we may not even see it in that form. The next time we see it, it might not even be in that form.
Right.
Especially since it's had all night to shift.
Yeah.
Anywho, back in the office.
Yeah, so you guys go rushing on in.
I look around to see if anything has changed since my last visit. Gonna be another perception roll, correct?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out why the music isn't actually properly playing.
You want 15 or 15?
I don't know.
You love 15 tonight.
Okay.
Adrian, 15 or 15 for his perception.
Hey, it's better than one.
It's better than the one I did. I think the session before last, where I had a assistance with it, and I rolled like 2 13s or 2 10s. Both of them were failing.
Anywho,
Yeah, so
I rolled a 6.
nice.
Denol is probably going, ooh, butterfly.
No, that'd be a 1.
No,
I
you
think a
want like,
butterfly when there
squirrel!
isn't one.
squirrel!
Well,
Yeah, anywho.
but that'd be more like a 1. So he's gonna kind of like whip his head back and forth. Or if you wanted
Which
to...
way did he go?
do the-
Which way did he go?
Anywho, everything.
Yeah,
We did the perception
So,
check.
you
What
guys-
do we see?
you guys rush on in, fling the doors open. The sergeant is sitting in the chair. The sergeant you were talking to like an hour ago who hired you to do this. Filling out some paperwork, and everything in the office looks pretty normal. Exactly the way that it was when you guys were last in here.
And
Seriously?
I'm
Nothing
I'm
different?
gonna look at him and say, His keys are gone.
Yeah, we got a problem.
His keys are gone.
I hold up the broken key ring.
Let's see, I believe I gave him the somewhat Scottish accent, yes?
Yes, I believe it's Scottish.
Oh, no, that's right, I was doing the drill sergeant thing with him. So, all of his keys are gone.
Yes.
Yes.
And the safe was not even touched. And it was out in the open. And we found claw marks equaling either a were-cat or were-tiger, more than likely, if my history recollection is correct.
I also have this black residue that I scraped off from the wall.
Well, we don't have that many arcanists around.
We've also told the guards to lock down all the underground tunnels in case of an attack.
Unfortunately, that also means that if those are locked off, then if there's any sort of siege on this fort, we won't be able to get out.
Yes, but the problem is if we don't put a few guards down there and keep an eye on it, we could be attacked from two sides.
Yes, I know, but the point is that if we have that locked down, we can't escape. Because we can't trust as to whether or not we would be ambushed trying to use them. Which is most likely what would happen.
Do you have a way to contact the king?
I have owls.
Do you have a map?
Our earrings, can those be used to contact the Adventurers Guild back in the city?
They can technically listen in, but it's only for you guys to be able to communicate with each other.
Okay, they can listen in, but we can't specifically call them.
Yeah, that's the reason we have to touch them together.
Okay.
See, that's the thing. If I remember correctly, I did do that with one of the receptionists. Because I think I did it because the reason that way, if I needed to get information on a quest or the quest updated or...
Oh, okay. So yeah, you probably did... I think you did end up touching it with one of the support staff.
Exactly.
Which means you'd at least be able to get a message to someone in the capital.
Yeah, which also means that somebody in the capital has been basically hearing all of your conversations along with any other conversations that they have on that same hearing. And that you'd be able to hear anything that they're saying to anyone else.
Yeah.
Only when they actually... Yeah, only when they use their earring, though.
Yeah, the thing is, the earrings contact everyone who's connected to that earring.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I look up the guy. What was his name again?
Sergeant Stafford.
Sergeant Shafter, do you have a map handy real quick, please?
So, by the way, I don't have a copy of the map of this region on my computer here.
That's fine. You pull it out of your butt or something. I don't care.
He will pull it out from one of the drawers.
And I'll start figuring the path we went. And the army was about a week out from us. If we had more than one owl, I would send out as many owls as possible in a couple of different directions asking for help. Because my opinion and my history recall this place is about to be sieged. And I will send, as a mecha plan, I will send a message to the Adventurers Guild. Hopefully they'll get it to the king, and the king can get to the army to get the army to even kick into an overdrive. But I will not do anything. I will not do anything without your permission, since technically you're the commander in the situation.
The army is already on us. Sorry, the army is already on a forced march.
This is true. But they also have cavalry, and cavalry can move a lot faster than foot soldiers.
No, they don't.
Magic cavalry does move faster when it's not...
They don't have cavalry.
Oh, they don't have cavalry. Okay, I didn't know that factor.
Yeah, that's what he's saying, is that they don't have cavalry. Yeah, we don't have any cavalry at all coming.
Well, with your permission, I would like to get a message to the king by ASAP.
I'll be sending a message out.
I can do it in about 3 seconds if you care to.
Well, I'm planning on sending a full-on report.
You do that, and I'll give him the heads up.
And hopefully at least one of them will get to him.
Oh, the way I'm doing it, it will. Excuse me, and I'll literally walk out of the room and contact the staff member and the guild.
So you start yelling at your earring, which means that everyone else who's on that network will be able to hear, which I don't think Sage is, so...
Nope. I have no earring.
And after yelling at it for about an hour, you're still not getting any response.
And casually walk back up to the commander's to see if I could find anything else.
The commander's quarters or his office?
Commander's quarters.
Okay.
I'll start walking the wall perimeter, seeing if I see anything out of the abnormal.
Normal.
Yeah, whatever, in distance or anything out of place from when we walked in, and I'll keep trying to wake up whoever's on the other end of this damn call.
Okay. Denault, what are you doing?
Well,
Earth to Denault.
I'm here.
I was about to speak and you interrupted. Denault, your turn.
Yeah. So everything seems like it's under control here. The new commander's already in his chair,
Temporary
handling
commander.
stuff. I'm going to. I ask him if there's how I say, how would you like us to assist?
Well, it's clear already that I'm going to have to start putting out the alarm.
So yeah, I'd pretty much know what's gonna happen. Sorry to interrupt. I'm the correction man. I'll go to the battlements, check for the surrounding, and help the guards start setting up for a siege if all else fails.
Last time checking the commander's quarters.
Do you have any locks that may not have been in use yet, so the keys may not have been on that keychain, on that key ring?
I did get the backup set of keys from the commander when he died.
Okay. But are there any extra locks that weren't in use yet? They may not have been on his key ring. Locks that wouldn't have been compromised.
Well, he didn't have most of the keys to all the quarters because they all use their own different kinds of keys. He had the ones for this office, the escape routes, a set to the armories, and then the ones to his own quarters and the things within it.
Okay. If you could have one of your people swap out some of the locks, say remove some locks from the quarters, swap them out with locks that have been compromised. We could replace some of the locks on one of the tunnels. Give us an uncompromised route out.
If we had a locksmith, perhaps, but we don't. We'd have to ask for one from the capital.
And okay, so your blacksmith isn't capable of performing that function then.
The local smith is basically here to make whatever metal things we're needing, generally fixing wagon wheels and whatnot, and repairing arms and armor.
Would a jeweler know a little bit about locksmithing?
Not really.
Okay.
They're very different systems.
And actually, nerd, speaking as a blacksmith, it was actually was the blacksmith that fashioned and assembled the locks. So the blacksmiths were the locksmiths in the medieval times.
Where they had somebody who could make a lock.
Mm.
Yes, back then they were a lot more simplified, but these people use more complicated locks than that.
And the blacksmith currently is probably only able to perform novice tasks like fixing armaments and mending wheels.
Because they didn't need anything else.
But anyway. But you never know, a blacksmith could have moved in from one of the nearby towns who was far more skilled than that.
Yeah.
He just didn't want to leave his town.
Yeah.
Because the towns themselves probably would have locksmiths as well, because it'd be damn inconvenient to have to send for a locksmith and spend 3 days traveling to find someone that can fix the lock on your door, and then spend 3 days traveling back with them. But anyway, so I asked him how I can help him. Since my character's this isn't my character's normal job. He doesn't really know what to do. So I tell him that it's like I'm asking you what I can do to help you. This isn't what I normally do. I just travel.
Well,
adventuring's new to me.
You could help try to reinforce things. You can keep trying to find out what the hell's going on in this fort. There's several things that need to be done. I'm going to have to start getting things boarded up for the time being until we can get a locksmith out here.
So who's in charge of finding out what's going on in the fort?
At the moment, that would be any investigators that we have, which at the moment is supposed to be me, but I'm also having to run the fort, which is why I asked your band of adventurers to investigate.
Yeah, but do you have a second in command that would be assisting us in the investigation?
I did bring one of the a lady with me from the capital. She's normally the job of receptionist, but she recently got the promotion to do field work.
Okay.
So I suppose you could possibly work with her. See, and as far as all of the analysis and whatnot that we have, I think your best bet would be the physician's tent. Sorry, the physician's pavilion.
I'll go stop by there. And then I'll see your the lady that came in with you after that. See if she has any further ideas. And I just kind of look at the door and look at him. Oh, sorry about barging in like that.
It's quite alright for you all to have panicked. Although, you might also want to remind your friends to perhaps have a look at the outside of the commander's room's lock.
Ah.
Well,
okay.
I was going to do an investigation.
And then I was going to grab my, I say, thank you for that advice. And as I'm on my way out the door, I grab my earring and I say, hey, Orsic, you might want to check the outside of the lock on the outside of the commander's door.
I will on my way to the wall. We also might want to make sure that the armory is locked down too.
But yet again, you forget that
yeah, he's
Sage
got
ran
people.
off to the commander's quarters.
He's got people working on that. He's organizing people to lock down the fort, which includes the armory.
Well, once I check the lock, I'm going on the wall and make sure all sentries are accounted for.
Okay, I'm going to take a look at the body.
Oh, and don't forget to apologize. I'm going to the military mode. I am. Apologize to the captain for me.
Don't worry, I already apologized for us barging in.
Yeah, because I've told you the history about my clan. We may be simple brewers, but at least we know how to fight and protect our booze.
Mm-hmm.
We're not those stupid merchants that just roll over and give up their wares. At least we'll stand and fight for what is ours. That's why we're so popular. That's why we also have the good stuff.
So I head off to the physician's tent.
Okay. So, real quick, jumping over to Wolf.
I did a perception check before I entered the room, seeing if I could see anything odd about how the entrant or the attacker got in.
Perception or investigation? Because perception is just looking around. Investigation is a detailed hands-on search.
Hang on. There you go.
Okay. So, kind of glancing at it, you can't really tell much about any of that. Doing an investigation of the opening and all that, the door was not like forced with a crowbar or anything, and there are tiny, tiny scratches at the inside edges of the lock.
This is very strange. First, there's claw marks on the bed, black residue. Entrant. There's a forced entry, but not brittle force, more like carefully expert force. A were-tiger could not cause this because they would be in a mad rage of some sort to just destroy things, if I'm correct.
assuming they operated alone. If they operated with someone else, that other someone
Right.
could have picked the lock.
And Adrian's just over there smiling like crazy. Okay, that's creepy. Stop it.
It's okay. He can't creep me out. I can't see him.
Anywho,
his evil grin.
I marked down what I see of the lock in a rough sketch pocket notebook I carry on me, which has been in my satchel ever since I got. I write down the notes and I put the pocketbook back into my satchel. And I search around the room, investigating.
Okay. In addition, because you're doing a more detailed search of specifically the door, there's an added detail that you're going to be noticing, which is that the inside of the door, not only is there the normal lock, which is basically a key deadbolt situation.
Right.
The door also has a bar on the inside.
Examine the bar.
Which is completely undamaged.
They picked the lock. How did they get past the bar?
And the bar is in the upright position.
Unless the commander didn't put the bar down, even if he knew that the hold was being attacked. I definitely know he wouldn't be that stupid.
But he also may have assumed that it's unlikely that someone would have that someone would have hit him, since so far, if I remember right, they were mostly striking seemingly at random before.
Yeah. little detail down. I go back to investigating the room.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a further detail in a little bit. As I'm going to jump over to Razor, who's planning on reinforcing or try to keep the troops moving and get things set up on the walls and start having a look for himself.
Yep. I make sure everyone's accounted for, and they're actually doing their damn job.
Yeah,
My clan training of slight military is kicking in.
Well, your family are mostly brewers, but they have to defend their brew.
Exactly. I said slight military.
Yeah, it's not really military. It's more like guard work, which is what these guys are supposed to be doing.
Exactly. Well, how about this? The training that I've had between my monk and my clan are kicking in.
Yeah.
To get shit organized, get shit going, and get a defense up as quickly as possible.
So,
i.e., circle the wagons as quickly as you can and have your arrows ready.
So you will be catching a few people that are kind of slacking off and just kind of chilling up on the wall and looking inward instead of outward.
And I'll start yelling at them as loud and demanding as possible. And if they give me any problem, I'll make sure my sigil is bright, shining like a sun.
Pick between persuasion and intimidate and roll one.
Which one? Persuasion and...
Pick one.
Persuasion or intimidate. Okay. So they'll grumble and start actually getting themselves to work.
And I'll look over as they're grumbling and go, "You're grumbling at me when I'm under orders from the damn captain of this damn fort to get your asses in gear? I'm the superior officer at this moment. Now move your asses!" Don't make me get the commander out here.
Our captain is dead.
Yes, but there is a guardman from the king himself who's taking command at the moment while we find you another captain. And as it stands by the law of the land and the king himself, he is your captain until further notice. And I am following his orders. Now move your ass before I report you.
So they'll kind of wave at you, or they'll kind of like do a backhanded wave and then, get to what they're supposed to be doing, where they're keeping a lookout outward. The morning fog is starting to burn off by this point. Actually, no, it probably has burned off for the most part at this point. There's still some kind of over in the forested area, but for the most part, it's pretty clear in the area. It's not sunny. It's a little bit overcast, but it's not like it's super dark and dreary. At least not outside the wall. Inside the wall, it still looks super dreary and kind of gray.
I'm going to do perception north, east, west, and south wall.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. So.
Do I see anything out of ordinary?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
So.
And if I see nothing and everything's okay, I'm gonna go back to the commander and politely, instead of barging in this time, and knock on the door.
Okay. So, since you guys are all split up at the moment, Metcalf.
Yep.
You're going off to the physician.
Yes.
Yeah. As far as I know, you don't currently have the residue because Sage still has that.
Yes, he does. And he never told me about it, so.
Well, he mentioned it right there in front of you in the commander's office.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have residue with me.
So, you'll head into the physician's pavilion. And there seems to be 4 guards there, one of which seems to be kind of looking kind of grumpy and irritable and staring at the ground and holding his hand up against his cheek.
I look over at him. I'm like, "What's up?"
And the guard who's currently sitting on one of the benches, none of your business. Back off. There's nothing wrong with my mouth.
I say. So he's holding the side of his mouth.
Yeah, kind of on the cheek a little bit.
I look at him and I go, "Toothache?"
No, it's nothing. I say nothing. Everyone's just delusional. And the guard who's kind of standing behind him will just kind of be sitting with his arms crossed and just start nodding. With that kind of broad, knowing smile.
As I walk over to that guard and I go, "If you get him to actually want a little bit of help, I do know a bit about medicine." And I just turn and walk into the tent with that "I am so sorry you have to deal with him" look.
Yeah, well, this is inside the tent.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I just kind of give him that "I'm so sorry you have to deal with him" look as I head over toward the captain's body.
Yeah, so beyond that, there's an area with a whole bunch of beds and a couple of tables. There's not really a whole lot of privacy in here. And there is a very gaunt-looking dwarf there who's very much on the slender side and wearing a kind of a light blue robe with some purple spots on the chest, kind of randomly splotched.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna walk over to him and say, "Where's the captain's body?"
The captain's body. I have that over there on one of the tables. Wait, who are you?
I say, "I was assigned by the person who is temporarily in command of the fort to assist in the investigation. I am a servant of the king."
Ah, you're the adventure guy, the adventure guy that the surgeon was talking about. Yeah. So, yeah, the body's over there. Just give me half a moment. I'll go over there with you. I just gotta tend to this oozing wound real quick. Just give me a moment.
Take a look at what he's working on.
It's a leg wound that has this kind of black tissue around it with this big old yellow pustule on the center of it with this kind of reddish edges around the yellow, and it looks like you can see like veins going across the yellow. It's pretty gross, and he is slicing it open into a bucket.
Yeah.
And I'll say, "My, that is disgusting. Can I help you with that?"
Do you mind getting your hands dirty?
Well, I am practiced in medicine, so.
All right, here. First, lather your hands in this stuff. It's sliding over a bowl to you. It's kind of a metal basin with a kind of noxious-smelling clear liquid in it.
Okay.
And then I want you to put your hands here, and then I want you to push them together a little bit and down and into towards the inside of the.
I think we lost him.
Oh, I lost connection. We'll be right back. And we're back.
Wow, really? Son of a... Son of a biscuit, son of... Oh, well. No
What the hell happened to you?
Yeah, my internet went out. So, a shortened version of what the doctor was doing was describing on basically applying pressure to force the pus and infected tissue out.
Okay.
Thank goodness I finished my garlic bread.
Which he was going to describe in detail for what you do with your hands to push all that stuff out.
Mm-hmm. And I was gonna ask him what caused this wound?
That is currently unknown, very much unknown. I'm figuring it out, though. I'm figuring it out.
Sure.
Okay, so...
What does my 18 tell me? Because I'm looking at this while we're doing this, trying to figure out what caused it.
There's a plethora of things that could cause an infection like this. The biggest thing is not getting it treated sooner.
So it's possible he got some sort of injury there, and he's just been letting it fester.
Yeah.
Yuck.
And I look at that, and then I look over at the guards sitting over against one wall, and I say, Judging from the guard that I saw that was in extreme pain, probably from a tooth, he probably just had an injury and didn't want to come to you.
Well, it's true that most of the various dwarves around here don't want to come to me because they don't want to have to admit the fact that they got hurt or have an injury.
Orphan pride gets him killed.
Everyone seems to forget that we're resistant to poisons, not diseases.
Hmm.
So yeah, after you're done draining the pussy wound, and he goes and puts some of that liquid that you were rinsing your hands in into the wound, which causes the man to scream in agony and pain before bandaging it up. And for those of you playing the home game, this clear liquid, yeah, it's rubbing alcohol.
And then right before we walk away, I say to the man who's probably sobbing very quietly now, it would have hurt a lot less if you just gotten that treated sooner.
He is telling the truth, very much the truth. Always the truth with that one. So yes, go ahead and wash your hands in the basin again, and then we'll go inspect the dead body.
Okay. Do it and then join him over at the body.
And now I actually have all the sound music stuff, now that I reloaded the page. Go figure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you guys go over to the dead body in question, and he'll kind of pull back the sheet a little bit to show the basically from about the hips up of this particular individual, and he's got a very dark mark about halfway across his neck.
Okay.
And he's dressed in pretty much the same clothes that you saw him wearing in the office.
Okay, so he hadn't had a chance to go to bed yet, then.
That or he chose to sleep in those same clothes.
Yeah, which is entirely possible.
Yeah, he's extremely pale, which is
Uh-huh.
a very big difference and makes him harder to identify. It's just the extremity of how differently pale he is, or how pale he is now versus how he was before. The wounds look pretty dry, but there is some blood on his clothing.
Okay.
There's some on his collar, just a little bit, and there's like a bunch in his doublet. Actually, it's probably more of a vest than a doublet, but you get the idea.
I'm sorry, a bunch of what, blood?
Yeah, there's a bunch of blood
Okay.
there. And there's multiple different kinds of wounds. surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll a medicine check for this.
So did the doctor just quickly run off to go do something else, or is he standing over there by me at the moment?
He's standing right next to you. I'm giving you a medicine check so you can identify some things before he starts talking about what he's noticed.
Okay. Eh.
Okay. So, yeah, it's very obvious that he was attacked with at least 2 different kinds of weapons here. One of which was something that was being attacked with less frequency, or with less frequently, but doing deep diving damage, making a single wound that is fairly it's not very wide, and you're guessing it goes in pretty darn deep. Then there's a bunch of others which seem to be a bit more rounded in how they're kind of ripped and placed. And this other weapon apparently had potentially multiple points of contact.
Okay.
But it did not have the same properties as this longer, thinner blade. Or at least this longer blade, which you're pretty certain it's a blade and not, in fact, like a rod.
Okay.
And he'll start going through the injuries and showing that there's not really much of a most of the wounds are like somebody was plunging their fingers into his body or scratching him across with fingers. Lots of kind of parallel or marks that are all in the same arc. This seems to be the primary mode of attack that was being used. And there seems to be no extra effect on those. He will then go about opening up the vest. Here to have a closer look inside of the vest and beyond the shirt as well.
Yeah.
And you'll then see lined up where those much deeper marks were. There is kind of necrotic tissue around those. This man looks like he like was stabbed with a blade that gave him leprosy or something.
Ooh.
But it's also obvious that he's lost a lot of blood in the process.
Yeah. Okay, so of course my guy wouldn't have no clue what type of blade could cause that. I'm going to point at those spots and ask him, so have you identified what type of weapon can cause this?
I've been doing a little bit of asking around just to try to get an idea as to what this could possibly be. There's not a whole lot of ideas, other than, possibly like necromancer stuff, or possibly like warlock stuff. It's hard to identify. And even that's just kind of based on people's general opinions. It's not really based on their expert opinions, because we don't seem to have any experts at the moment.
And who else was killed? I know that there was several other people that had been killed in the same way.
Oh yes, those bodies over here. And he's going to go over and uncover another 2 bodies next to the captain. Which these bodies are... one of them is a female, half-elf, who just has that big, very deep mark going across the neck. Like, it goes through at least half the thickness of the neck, from the front towards the back.
Okay.
Which is all black and very dry tissue. and there's a distinctive kind of reek to it. It smells a lot like rotten pork.
Okay.
And there is a slight amount of on the inside of the wound. There seems to be a slight amount of like white fuzziness going on there. And she is also very pale, and it looks like she was drained of blood. But there's no blood on the rest of her.
I want to take a look at that white fuzziness thing. What would I roll to take a look at it?
In this particular case, I'm guessing you're trying to identify it, yes?
Yes.
So pick a skill that you think would be possibly appropriate and then roll it.
It's white and fuzzy. Does it remind my character of mold?
It could possibly be.
Well, because there's a very particular, there's a specific type of look that always reminds people of mold.
Yeah, it does look a bit like moldy bread.
Okay.
Yeah, that is indeed a mold. I personally don't know what the kind of mold is off the top of my head, but yeah, it is indeed a mold. Correctly identified. And
okay.
It is a kind of mold that actually would... It's a kind of mold that has been used by physicians for the past about 100 years or so in a alchemical form to try and create a special serum to help ward off diseases.
I point out that mold to him, and I say, and I tell him what it is.
And by the way, for the commenters, if you know what the kind of mold is that penicillin is derived from, please put it down in the comments down below. I don't have time to look it up at this exact moment, so yeah, do that. Yes, that's a special kind of mold. It's used for something. I don't really remember what.
I go ahead and I tell him. I say it's used to fight off diseases, usually in alchemical form.
Right, it's made for using that anti-disease serum.
Yes.
Yeah, I have some vials of that, actually. I don't have very much of it, unfortunately. I don't have the means to make it, so...
But do you... How would the person have gotten this particular mold on in the wound?
Potentially just by having various kinds of rotting, decaying flesh and having that mold be exposed to the wound. Possibly due to transference due to some common element in the environment, or possibly even from the blade itself that was being used to make this cut mark.
Okay.
So if there's any residue of that particular mold, it could have gotten transferred.
So it's possible that the person that we're looking for has something to do with chemistry, mold, or medicine.
Potentially, yes.
Okay. And then go take a look at the other body.
The other one is a male dwarf, and something you're going to be kind of noticing at this point between the two, partly because it's going to be pointed out, but also partly because it's kind of noticeable, is the fact that both this half-elf and... come on.
Dwarf.
Yeah, both this half-elf and the dwarf have matching rings on their fingers.
Take a look at the ring.
it appears to be just kind of a plain gold ring.
Mm-hmm.
Make an investigation check if you want any further details
Okay.
on that. Mind you, if you're doing that, that means you're going to be taking the ring off of the body.
Yeah. It's a ring.
It's a ring. It's got a little bit of roughness on the inside. That's all you can figure out.
What was that about the inside?
It's got a little bit of roughness.
Okay. I'm gonna grab my earring. I'm gonna say, "Hey, Orsic, I have a ring for you to look at in the medical tent." Yeah, it's a ring. It's rough on the inside. I can't tell anything else about it. But two of the victims were both wearing rings that appear to be identical. And then take a look at the captain's hands. Specifically looking for the ring.
The captain does not have the ring.
What?
The captain does not have a ring that matches.
Okay.
So it's just those two.
I go, I'm on my
Okay.
way.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. So yeah, so Orsic says that he's on his way.
Okay.
The other thing you notice, or the other thing that's kind of obvious about this third body, is that it appears to have more marks on it. More of the non-darkened wounds in the chest region.
And I say, which one died first?
They died fairly close together. Unfortunately, I can't narrow it down any further than they died in the same hour. And they died approximately an hour before the captain there.
So they all died last night?
Yes.
But I heard that there were people mysteriously turning up dead yesterday when we arrived.
Yes, and I still have those bodies. Well, I still have that body, I should say. And it was 2 days before that when there was a previous batch of bodies, and then the day before that there was a batch of bodies, and then I think it was around. I think it was actually pretty much every. There was like 4 nights in a row where there was bodies.
Okay.
We've been having a lot of bodies.
Can I take a look at the one that you still have?
Oh yes, of course. It's right over here. And he'll lead you off to a distant corner of things. This seems to be the only area that seems to have any kind of sheltering. And as a flap towards the outside of the pavilion.
Okay.
And there's a coffin set up there with an individual in it. This is a woman, as I recall.
Okay.
And the only discernible mark on her is the deep cut, which it looks like has been there's been an attempt to sew that back together again. And there's a jar with a brush with some flesh-colored makeup. And it looks like some makeup was applied to the face.
So is the only injury on that body a cut to the throat?
Yes.
I point at the throat and I say, Did any of the other bodies that came before this one have more than just a cut to the throat?
There was a female. I want to say it was maybe a week ago, maybe, who had some more injuries. Oh, and there was also a set of guards that was. I think that was last week. I'm not entirely certain, but there was a lady, and there was a set of guards, and yes, they had some additional injuries. The guards had a severe bruising and broken bones in the center chest area, breaking off the. I want to say it's not clavicle, because clavicle's up here. Sternum. Breaking the sternum area apart from the rest of the ribs. And the other lady came in with multiple stab wounds in the gut region. And it looked like there's some additional ripping there.
Okay. So the method of killing seems to be changing, except for the slash to the throat.
It does seem pretty consistent that there's attempts to do slashes to the throat region to do whatever it is with the blood draining.
Okay.
And the wound was always very clean after the fact, and there just didn't seem to be any blood left in that area. I mean, the body obviously has some traces of blood still in it, but all of the extra loose kind of blood that would be likely to possibly flow also seems to be gone.
Okay. So which one was it that had more than just the slice to the throat? Was that the other dwarf?
Yes.
Okay.
Which it looked like got into a little bit of a scuffle.
I'm going to take a closer look at him. 14. Same as I got with the other guy.
So it looks like the stabby wounds are the same as the stabby wounds that are on the captain.
Okay. I'd say a shot in the dark. If this MO is changing, he probably was the second one to go.
It does seem likely that with the second dwarf, the dwarf here, is that he woke up when she got her throat slit, and then tried to fight off the attacker. That does seem fairly likely, and there was some blood that fell onto the floor. That was, as far as I can tell, not from either of the victims, which I did get a sample of, but I don't have the equipment to do a proper analysis of it.
Okay.
I would need a wizard for that.
Okay. I'll see if I can find someone to help you with that. I say thank you for your assistance, and another guy's going to be stopping by. Another dwarf, Orsic. He's going to be taking a look at the ring. Actually, I'll wait for him to show up.
Okay.
Basically, nerd. When he shows up, I'm going to assist him to give him advantage on his check.
Okay.
Oh, and actually, that was just looking at one of the rings. I'm going to put that ring back, and I'm going to look at the other ring.
Okay.
Because it's a different ring. New check. Unless you disagree with that, which point I'll just wait.
Let me look at the numbers. Sorry, I did not mean to do copyright stuff. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Okay, so yeah, I'll let you get away with one more investigation check.
Okay. Come on, character sheet. Okay. Basically, like, okay, fine, I'll let you do it.
He rolled
It's
another,
also-
not one.
Natural one.
Alright, so Orsic, you arrive in the physician's pavilion, and you'll see Denault off on kind of one side of the, or one end of the pavilion, beyond the area where there seems to be a bunch of people waiting, with the this very gaunt dwarf. He looks like he's like sickly thin, kind of to a scary level.
Okay.
Wearing this light blue robe with a red cord, bright red cord around his waist,
Okay.
and these kind of purple splotches on his chest.
Okay. I see Denault and I go, you asked me to look at something?
I look up and I go, ah, yes, over here.
I walk over. And what would you like me to look at?
I show him the ring. And I say
Pair of
that
rings?
each of these... Yes, the pair of rings.
I said, oh, give me 1 second. I'll reach into my satchel, pull out this nice little box, set it on the table, and start pulling out my jewelry tools. Make sure my hair is pulled back, put my eyepiece on, grab the tweezers, and I go to work.
Okay, so...
And I'll give him what assistance I can, so he has advantage.
So, I'm going to have you, because this is a wisdom-based check as opposed to the normal dexterity check for your jewelry stuff, I'm going to have you roll your brewer's supplies.
I have a jewelry kit thing under the tools.
Yes, but it's using dexterity. What we want is the wisdom. So, you're technically using your jeweler's kit, but, yeah.
That sucks.
Well, that is good enough to be able to identify the fact that these are, in fact, wedding bands with engraving on the inside.
Okay, well, I'll look at the other one.
Much better. Okay. So you're kind of like, huh. You put that one down and you pick up the other one. You take out your ×8 magnifier instead of your ×2 and put that up into your eye socket to look at the inside. And these wedding bands are probably about 1.5 years old.
Uh-huh.
And then the inside, they have engraving. Half of it is in Dwarven, half of it is in Elven, which essentially is a declaration of bonding in this life and the next.
I look up at Denault. These are just ordinary wedding rings.
Oh, okay. Well,
on the other hand, they are kind of pricey because of this engraving, which means that they're worth about, come on, brain. They're worth about 250 gold each.
But they are worth about 250 gold apiece
okay.
with this engraving. It is in Dwarven and Elvish.
Who knows Elvish in your group?
And I'm going to say, okay, well, on the other hand, I point at the slice on the lady's throat, and I say, this is penicillium mold. It's used to help prevent infection and stuff. So we could all That at least gives us some sort of lead. It was probably transferred there by the blade.
Yes, that is true.
And yes, nerd, I looked it up. It's penicillium.
Okay.
Brainiacs. So what would you like to do now? Sorry, I'm also playing a background game because I don't want to just sit here. I was getting bored.
Yeah.
It's not your guys' fault, it's just my ADHD.
I see. Well, I'm gonna go report what I found. After that, I will help you with whatever you want me to help you with. And as you know, I'm new to this whole adventuring thing. I really don't know where to start.
Well, I think I'm going to go with you because I had some guards disrespect me because they don't think that, you know, our temporary captain of this fort is worth their title, and they're waving me off, which they're slacking on their duties with a possible raid on this fort.
Okay.
And you know how I take security very seriously.
Yeah. So, nerd, where is his assistant? Is she near him?
You will actually be able to find her fairly easily because of the fact that she's probably the most colorful person that's walking around at the moment, because she is dressed in the colors of the Hammer Guard.
Okay.
With the additional red pauldrons.
Okay. When I see her, I say I'm gonna report to her. I just don't really feel like bothering him when he has so much to do. But what you're telling me, he should know. So you report to him, I'll report to her.
So yeah, I'll go knock on his door.
So that's the trade-off. I was going to tell her what I found. That the first person, the lady just had her throat slit. The next one had actually been attacked, probably because he woke up, got into the struggle. Tell her about the penicillium mold, the different sources where it could come from. Yeah.
Okay, so...
And then it passes on to someone else. I figure I took up more than enough time.
Yeah, especially since my internet went dead for a bit there.
Yeah.
Yes, so back to Sage. So the additional detail that I was going to be mentioning to you, the hinge on the bar, it has an additional oil has been added to the hinge that is not of the same viscosity as the previous oil.
Let's see.
As opposed to like a heavy grease, it's something more like a lamp oil.
I never took off my backpack. I checked my backpack to see what I can use to collect the grease.
The grease and the oil?
Yeah. I have a cleaning rod.
That is that'll just completely eliminate it.
Yeah, that will totally clean it.
Yeah, no, not a good idea. Let's see. What's in my mess kit? I check my mess kit to see if there's any sort of cloth that's clean.
Mess kit has a bowl, a cup, knife, or probably a knife, fork, spoon.
You know, I should have just tried touching my cleaning rod to that wound. Oh well.
It would get the dirt off. It wouldn't necessarily get the
pus.
Actually, probably get the pus off. It just wouldn't get it out.
Okay.
I
touched my
searched through my
hands with
back. Oh wait, I have some hemp rope. So I cut off a small section of hemp rope, at least 3 inches long.
And you kind of smear that on there?
I carefully just take the grease and I go like this, searching. Investigation. Hey, it works.
So, what is next? So yeah, there's not a lot of additional detail that you can find in that room, but the guards will also inform you the fact that there is another room which had dead bodies in it.
I asked one of the guards, excuse me, guard, is there any other room I could check?
Well, I mean, like, they're gonna come in and, like, tell you that there's another room.
Oh, okay.
Yes, there's another room, that was attacked. All of it got kind of put into more orderly fashion. Although there wasn't much that was out of disorder, but, you know. They're about to send in the cleaning crew to clean everything up.
Where is this room?
This way. And he's gonna lead you to a room that's only, like, 2 doors down from where you guys were staying.
Oh, this explains why I heard the noises last night. I open up the room. I do it.
Yeah, and well, the guard will go ahead and open up the door for you to let you in, and there's a little bit of signs of there having been combat, and a set of sheets was very much tossed off from where where one of the people was sleeping. The other one kind of looks like it was carefully peeled back and then placed. The other one was completely thrown off. And yeah, so start with your investigation check. Nice.
Natural 1.
You're not rolling with disadvantage.
Oh,
So
goody.
you're using that first number. Always that first number. So you well, notice the fact that there's some scuff marks on the floor a little bit. There's a substantial dent in the floor near to where there's a chair with a desk, which is more than what most of you guys got in your rooms. And it also looks like one of the dressers was set back up again from last night. And there's bits of blood on kind of sprinkled across the floor.
I hate to say this, but I'm probably gonna have to head off for the night. It's currently 2:10 or 10:10, and I'm currently in.
Yeah. So we are actually at that point of the night where we should be probably calling it, unfortunately. So I guess next time we'll be opening up with Orsic. Okay, actually, quick. Orsic, are you planning on just doing a report, or are you planning on also questioning the sergeant further?
No, I figured Denault did all that, so.
Okay. So, I guess we'll be opening up next time with the further investigations. And next time, there might be combat.
Oh, goody.
There are only so many hours in a day. And the night seems to be the best veiled for killing.
Well, I'd still be at an advantage because of dark vision.
Yeah, I think the whole party has dark vision.
Yep.
Exactly. That and close quarter archery.
Okay, so next week will be the day right after Halloween. So I might not be able to run that night, but hopefully I will be able to. We'll see. So yeah,
Why not?
if there's not a video, then you guys will know what happened. It just was because of the holiday.
Because he saw something spooky and ran away.
No, I am a spooky. Because this year I'm doing Dracula.
No, you have to say it properly. Dracula.
Yes, Dracula from
Dracula.
Transylvania. So, okay. Do we have any closing statements, or should I just do the outro?
Goodberry? he didn't do that much this time. But he was preoccupied. Next time.
I'll one up you. I'll have a good pint of ale. Screw you, good bears. I got ale.
A good berry ale. That would be kind of surprising to be able to make.
I have bow.
Start with an arrow. Okay, so this is time where I do the outro, which I'm sure you guys are all very familiar with by now. So if you like our
Very.
episode, please hit the like button. And if you want to help support us, please hit the subscribe button. If you want to be caught, or if you want to catch the next spooky episode right when it's uploaded, because my uploading has been wonky because of the internet, then please hit the nerd alert bell to be updated as when all of the nerdy content is coming out. And as always, please leave some comments down below. I know it's a pain in the butt and that most people don't really want to do it, but please leave comments. They help a lot.
Comments? What's that?
Oh, goody.
So, till next time, be awesome to each other and eat a good berry.
No. No. You have to enjoy a good pint of booze.
Well, the alcohol's the chaser.
See ya.
See you guys later.